Hey guys, welcome to the Whiskey Dick podcast. This is its very first episode. My name is Matt. Very excited to bring you this podcast to you. I've been planning on this for a while. My very first episode will be reviewing two of Michter's flagship products. We have Michter's small batch bourbon and their unblended American whiskey. Starting off with a little bit about Michter's distillery. Michter's distillery claims to be the first American whiskey ever made, founded in 1753. Over the years, it's been passed from person to person. The name has changed multiple times. It wasn't until 1950 when Lou Foreman, the owner at the time, changed the name to Michter's after his two sons, Michael and Peter. And then in the 1990s, it moved from Pennsylvania, where it had been for the last 250 years, to Louisville, Kentucky, the heart of American bourbon. All right, so starting out here, we have Michter's small batch bourbon. We're going to be reviewing this, and then we'll review the Michter's unblended American whiskey, and we'll kind of compare the two. Starting out with the small batch bourbon. So right on the nose, I'm getting some cinnamon, I'm getting some apples, I'm getting vanilla cream, I'm getting a little bit of, a tad bit of oak. It smells delicious. It smells like you're kind of walking right into a bakery shop. I mean, it smells like baked goods. It smells like, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely delicious. Let's go ahead and taste it. Man, that's good. So right up front, you're going to get hit with a little bit of rye spice, that cinnamon that's on the nose, and then it's going to all get wrapped together with caramel. And that caramel, maybe that's some of the sweetness that I was smelling up front and that baked good smell. But that caramel, man, it brings down that spice and it just kind of rides right through the finish. That caramel just kind of lays on your tongue and just sits there. It's really nice. Feel free to drink along with me, by the way. Man, that's good. Yeah, so some spice, some cinnamon, and then caramel to bring it all down. It's really subtle. The spice isn't kicking you in the face. The caramel's not overly sweet. The two balance each other out really nicely, making this really a great, mellow, subtle bourbon. It's really a great starter bourbon if you know someone who is trying to get into bourbons, not really sure what to get. This is really a great starter. It's really what got me into bourbon. It's not too strong. The flavors aren't too aggressive. The proof of this is 91.4 proof. So it's only 45.7% alcohol by volume. So it's not overly powerful in the alcohol content. You can see that the color is light. It's a real light amber, which is pretty common among younger bourbons. And this is an unaged bourbon. Michter's doesn't actually list the age of their bourbon on their bottles. But if you look it up, it says typically somewhere between 6 and 8 years. So a younger bourbon. But man, is it delicious for a younger bourbon. This one sits right around $40 in the price point. So great price point. There's a lot of really great bourbons around that price point. This one's great if you're looking to get started in bourbon. You're not really sure what to buy. You go into the liquor store, there's a whole shelf of it. Michter's great one to pick up. Also, or if you're looking, if you have a friend that's looking to get into it, this is always a great starting point. It's where I started. And then next, we have the Michter's Unblended American Whiskey. So what makes this a American whiskey versus a bourbon is that all bourbons are aged in new oak barrels, whereas the American whiskey is aged in used oak barrels, so not new. And this is a unblended American whiskey. So I guess the best way to explain what a unblended whiskey is to explain what a blended whiskey is. So a blended whiskey during the 1980s, clear spirits were really on the rise, and darker spirits like dark rum, whiskey were on the decline. Vodka, gin, white rum were all very popular at the time. So what whiskey distilleries decided to do was they decided to blend their whiskey with clear spirits to try and dilute them down, mellow them out, and try and compete with the marketplace. This is a unblended whiskey, so not blended with anything else other than itself, and you can tell that with the beautiful color. I mean, this has a rich, dark amber color, really, really beautiful color. Go ahead and try this one. And right off the bat with the nose, I mean, it's going to hit you with butterscotch, it's going to hit you with molasses, it's going to hit you with vanilla cream, a little bit of wood on the backside, but mostly, I mean, that butterscotch is popping right out at me. And it's going to follow through with the flavor. I mean, right on the palate, you're getting hit with butterscotch, getting hit with vanilla, hit with molasses, a lot of sweetness, a little bit mellowed out. There is a slight wood flavor. And then on the back end here, I'm getting a peppery flavor. Some black peppers hitting me on the back of my tongue, and that's kind of rising with the finish. So right up front, you get hit with the sweetness of the butterscotch, molasses, vanilla, and then on the back end, you're getting a little black pepper kick, which is kind of brings it all back together. Man, that's good. I mean, that is really delicious. This butterscotch is really prevalent in this, but it's not overly sweet. That it's got some wood flavor to it, which is kind of bringing that sweetness down. And then that black pepper that's on the back of my tongue, really starting to pop, comes full force. I mean, this is what a delicious, delicious drink. This is also at the $40 price point. You know, someone that kind of likes a little bit sweeter, this is definitely there. It's only at 41.7% alcohol by volume, or 83.4% proof, 83.4 proof. So this is definitely a lighter alcohol content than the bourbon. So if you know anyone that needs a easy drinker during the day, you know, you're hanging out barbecuing, I mean, this thing is delicious. It's lower alcohol content. It's an easy drink. Highly recommend. Michter's also makes a rye that's really, really, really good if you're trying to get into ryes. Michter's rye is very mellow. I just bought it for my father-in-law for Christmas. They make a sour mash that's delicious. They also make some limited release stuff. They make a toasted barrel, a barrel proof, and then they have the Michter's 10, which is the most popular. You hear about it all the time. I've been trying to find it. The local liquor store has it for about $400. If anyone knows of a liquor store that has it around retail or a little bit more than retail in the Maryland, Baltimore, DC area, please leave a comment down below. If you like my reviews or my content, please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. I really appreciate all that. I'm hoping to put out a lot more content. I have, we're going to have some special guests on the show. We're going to do some blind taste tests, a lot more reviews. We're going to compare some whiskeys with each other, some bourbons with each other. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. If you have any questions or concerns or suggestions, please find me on Instagram. My handle is the Whiskey Dick. I'm very active on Instagram, so feel free to follow me there and send me any DMs. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have. Also excited to release the new Whiskey Dick shirts. If you want one, just send me a DM on Instagram. I'm more than happy to make it happen for you. 10% of proceeds from the t-shirts go to local charities. So you are supporting local charities with your purchase. Other than that, I really appreciate you guys watching this. Until next time, cheers.